Hey, Michael. I guess my question was, after the game last night, Jamal came to the podium and pretty much said, like, I take the blame. That one's on me. There were shots that I needed to hit. He pretty much took the blame for the loss. Just curious your thoughts on that and your take on him taking responsibility for the loss.
Oh, I think it's admirable, that he would say that, but I don't agree with that at all. Yes, he could have made shots in the fourth quarter. He wasn't missing on purpose, but Jamal played extremely hard. I think he was 1 of 8 in the fourth quarter. But the game didn't come down to Jamal Murray being 1 of 8. The game came down to our defense or lack thereof. They had 30 points in transition. I just got done going through the film with our guys, very honest, direct film, and the players owned it. And it was actually really, considering the clips were very negative, it was a very positive film session. So I don't think when you win or lose a game, it's ever on one player. We win together, we lose together. And I know Jamal wants to make every shot he takes, but we lost that game. For me, Harrison, we lost that game on the defensive end in transition and guarding Devin Booker.
We'll go to Vinny.
My cousin Vinny.
Yeah. Michael, looking back at the game this morning, it seemed like Devin Booker's first 4 or 5 shots all were pretty easy, pretty high quality looks. How important is it for you guys to introduce that physicality early so he's not settling into that rhythm and cooking? Then second half, it seemed like the defense was a little better, but he was already in that rhythm.
Yeah, it's funny. You must have been in our film session. He had 18 points in the first quarter. And as I told our players, I don't think he had any white paint on him. We were in white jerseys. I don't think we touched him. Whether it was a transition 3, whether it was a coast-to-coast drive, a mid-range pull-up, it was definitely way too easy for him. And as you mentioned, Vinny, it's really hard to put a fire out. And he had it going. I felt another big play was very end of the third quarter. You let him walk into a pull-up 3. And he's going to score. Then the sheer volume of shots that he's going to take, he's going to score. But we can't allow it to be on 80% from the field when he goes 20 of 25. And so being into him, being more physical, more aggressive, showing him more of a crowd, hopefully doesn't allow him to start off at 18 points and shoot into a big basket the rest of the night. So definitely agree with your assessment.
Parker next.
Hey, Michael, you talked a little bit last night about the timeout you took early in the fourth. I think with the end of the third in there, it was 14-0 in that stretch. What is there something that you can put your finger on in that stretch? I mean, Nikola was off the floor for some of it, even though it wasn't very long. But what was it that went wrong, I guess, in that period, end of the third, beginning of the fourth?
Well, I mean, simply stated, it was a complete lack of defense. And you could say it was a complete lack of offense as well. I know that, they scored. We took Nikola out and they went on a 9-0 run without Nikola on the floor. Very end of the third, start of the fourth quarter. Cameron Payne comes down in transition, hits a pull-up 3, and no one was guarding him. And that was one of the clips I showed today. I know we spend so much time worrying about Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, but in transition, we have to communicate. We have to declare the basketball. So Payne hits a pull-up 3, Booker gets an easy one. So now all of a sudden you're looking at a 9-0 run. And for the first time that I recall in these playoffs, we've had that timeout where I got to get Nikola back in right now because this game is about to get away from us. And that was disappointing after the third quarter that we had. But we played great, got back in the game after being down 15 at the half. But we have to be better defensively. When Nicola's not on the floor, we got to defend, rebound, run, and put pressure on them. And we didn't do that last night.
Next, we'll go to Matt Brooks.
Hey, Michael. Felt like Phoenix did a good job of keeping Booker and Durant one pass away from each other. And, for somebody, especially like Booker, who's so good at, attacking before he catches, it got them a lot of looks just when you guys kind of played in the gap. So I was just curious if that's something that you saw in the film, and if so, how you guys will adjust for that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with no Chris Paul, they really changed their rotation last night, throwing out a Terrence Ross, a TJ Warren, guys who had not played a whole lot. They went away from Ayton and went with Jock Landale a lot down the stretch. They know we're giving a tremendous amount of attention to either Devin Booker or Kevin Durant when they have the ball. And so I think it's really important that when we give them that extra attention or we send an extra defender, but there are too many times last night where we were reactive instead of being proactive to that pass out, which put us into long closeout situations, which gives them the advantage. So if you're going to put two on the ball, you know you got to give something up, but that something we give up cannot be one pass, open shot, or quick drive to Booker and or Durant, depending upon who we're actually sending that extra defender to. So definitely agree with that. They're kind of mixing their spacing up where they put guys, and we have to do a better job of realizing who's on the floor, where are they, and who is the most important rotation and shade toward those guys so we can be there on the catch.
We'll go to Tony Jones next.
Coach, did their pace without Chris Paul, did it throw you guys off a little bit? They had 23 transition points, 10 of 14 shooting in transition. So not only did they get the points in transition, but they were efficient in doing so, and they played a lot faster without Chris. Did that throw you off, or was that something that you guys anticipated going at?
Well, I mean, they've been talking about trying to play faster since game one. And the first 2 points they scored last night was a Cameron Payne coast-to-coast drive. And then Devin Booker had a transition score. And then after a made basket by us, Josh Okogie got a layup in transition. So they definitely played, I think, the fastest they played in the first 3 games was last night. We talked about it, but talking about it and being ready for it are two different things. And I think watching the film, we weren't ready for it because it happened, throughout the game. Much better job in the second half. And if you look at it, our best quarter defensively was the second quarter. And that quarter, they only had 2 transition points, by far our best overall. So, we have to be ready for it, not just talk about it tomorrow, but be ready for the pace of play on makes, misses, turnovers, get back, make them see a crowd. And we can't let Devin Booker get 15 of his 47 points in transition. That's just a losing proposition. Make them play in the half court.
We'll go to Rob Mahoney next.
Hey, Michael. In that third quarter, you changed a lot of how you were matching up defensively. I'm curious, especially with that starting group, what gives you the trust and the confidence that they can execute that kind of mid-game change, like that big of an adjustment in the middle of the game?
Well, we've done it. We were doing some of that in the first 2 games as well. Not nearly as much, obviously. Game 1, we had a great offensive game. Game 2 was an ugly offensive game, but our defense was great. So hiding Nikola, putting Nikola on different players, switching pick and rolls, using our versatility with guys like KCP, Aaron, Bruce, Jamal, whoever it may be, something that we've done in the first 2 games, but being down 15 at the half, we felt we had to find a way to get a little bit more aggressive within our game plan to try to take them out of some of the easy things that they were getting. So we'll look to use it once again tomorrow evening when we play. And depending upon how the game is going, will dictate how much or how less we use that tactic.
All right, we got 2 more here. We'll go to Paul Klee next and then end with Jacob Toby.
Hey, Michael, I'm thinking back at some of these Suns teams through the years, and man, they've had players here, but they're kind of like Denver. They've never won an NBA title. You said the other day it was important for you to win one for the city of Denver. There's a lot of good reasons to want to win one, but why is it important for you to get one for the city?
Well, I think, the loyal fans, I've been here 8 years now, Paul, as you know, and I remember my first year here, and, the fan turnout at Pepsi Center at that time was, not where we would like it. And I quickly learned that Denver's population was a very transient population, people moving in from all over. And in order for us to make them diehard Nuggets fans, we had to do our job in terms of putting a winning product on the floor and playing the right way. And you look at the evolution of the team in these last 8 years, especially the last 5 playoff years, our fans have made the Nuggets a priority, and we've had one of the toughest places to play in the NBA. And, as I've been here, this is home for me and my family. And being around these fans and getting to know them and feel them and appreciate them, you always want to give back. So every night when we have a game at Ball Arena, our fans represent and show out, and we're trying to do the same for them. And winning a championship is obviously something that would mean the world, not just to the coaches, players, the organization, but Nuggets Nation in Denver, in Colorado, and around the country and around the world. And it's been a long time, a long drought. So we want to be the team that changes that and kind of puts the Nuggets on the map. And our fans would be fully deserving of that opportunity.
All right, we'll end with Jacob Toby.
Coach, obviously tomorrow's a big game. You could go back to Denver 3-1, you could go back 2-2. Is that something you talk about with the guys and stress that, or is that something that they already, pretty much understand?
I would hope they understand that. I mean, it's game 4. Right now we're up 2-1. Yesterday was a disappointing game, especially that second quarter. Got back in it in the third and just didn't have enough down the stretch after being down so much to pull it out. But there is no panic. We win together, we lose together, and we had a very productive film session. All I'm hoping for tomorrow is to try to win game 4 and to be better in the areas that we struggled in last night, starting in transition, starting in guarding a Devin Booker, starting in guarding Kevin Durant without fouling and keeping him off the foul line. So that's our focus right now, is to win game 4, take it one game at a time. And then if that allows us to go back 3-1, great. But I understood coming out to Phoenix, this series is a long ways from being over. That's a very good team, playoff tested team. And I'm looking forward to the opportunity tomorrow afternoon.
All right, that'll do it. Thanks, Coach.
Well, thank you.